Oh boy, this is super interesting. I sure did not expect to be making a video on this topic today or this month or even this year. But there's a big rumor brewing that Nintendo is preparing to do something that was previously unthinkable for them, and that is drop the price of Nintendo Switch significantly. And the timing is so interesting because we are less than a month away from the Nintendo Switch OLED, which figures to be the new cream of the crop from Nintendo. But what makes this extra juicy is a nugget of Switch OLED info from back in July, where it had a price drop of its own. This all ties together in a super intriguing way, so buckle in, you're gonna wanna see this. So let's dive in and see what is going down, and if come next week, Nintendo Switch is about to cost $250. All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. This blew me away, so smash that like button if you'd be excited for a cheaper Switch and think this is a good move. And let me know in the comments down below how it would affect your purchasing decision and just kind of your thoughts on the Switch ecosystem going forward. I mean, Nintendo, they typically love to keep prices full price as long as they can, but today we saw this very interesting tweet pop up from Nintendo Alerts. Now, Nintendo Alerts is a pretty respected source that has a lot of sources in the retail space over in France. They're a verified account, as you can see, and they tweeted this about the Switch: 270 euros, 2017, but I can't read French even though I took that class in elementary school, so instead, let me bring something up that I can read to you. All right, Nintendo Switch price drop possibly incoming. All right, source is a very reliable deal Twitter account with proven retail sources. A price cut of the Switch will be officially announced on Monday, cutting it from 329 euros in France to around 270 euros. A price cut this big is unlikely to be tied exclusively to a single region, as it would price it significantly below every other territory, so it's likely going to be worldwide. This would amount to about 50 to 60 euros, meaning the Switch could be sold at $250 starting next week. Now, man, a price drop of that size and scope is significant. The Switch has been $300 since it was first introduced in March of 2017, and the Switch Lite sits at $200, a significant savings, but you also lose out on the whole Switch element. Now, what's interesting here is the Switch OLED is about to come out at $350, and that feels like a hefty price, especially considering the limited upgrades that system provides. We discussed it in Good Morning Mario today, and I feel a bit worried about what you're getting for the extra money, especially for players that already are part of the Switch ecosystem. But what makes this doubly interesting is something that happened back in July that caught me very off guard and seemed like a blip in the system, but maybe there was more to it. You might remember that I made a video on July 17th entitled Nintendo Switch OLED price dropped to $299 today. And that was quite curious. Well, it was because Walmart was offering $50 refunds to people that had pre-ordered the Switch OLED. And people weren't even asking for them. They just were saying, surprise, your purchase just got chopped by $50. That interestingly made the Switch OLED $300. Now, I'm not saying this is the case, but wouldn't it be fascinating if Nintendo waltzed into their next Direct and said, hey, guess what? Nintendo Switch, the OG version that we're trying to really push off store shelves, is now $250, and that upgraded model that we announced at $350, surprise, it's $300. Now, I think that would be genius and very smart because it would effectively replace the current Switch with the Switch OLED, and I'd feel really good about that $300 price point, giving you the 7-inch screen, the better colors, the little bit better audio, and that nice, sexy kickstand. And then you'd have this really cool 3-pillar where the Switch Lite is $200, the Switch is $250, and the Switch OLED is $300. Although that does make the Switch Lite feel like it's a little expensive, considering for $50 more you can make this a home console. But let's say for a second that the Walmart price drop is just a strange glitch in the Matrix, and Nintendo does plan to have a $250 OG Switch and a $350 Switch OLED. Now we're in strange territory, where I was having a bit of a difficult time today justifying a $50 price hike for the OLED's little additions, and now you're telling me it's $100 extra? That feels freakishly odd. Why would I spend $100 for 0.9 inches of more screen and for some more vibrant colors and a white dock? But hey, it doesn't do anything different when it's in that dock because there's no performance boost. So something very strange is going on here, and I'm really curious to see how this all shakes out. Does Nintendo drop the Switch to $250 to try and really get those V2s off store shelves and out of the system, and then make way for the Switch OLED to be the new main model? Is this their weird way of raising the price? Or would that backfire and people would just not buy the OLED at all and just stick with the OG? Now, on top of Nintendo alerts, a few others have come forward and said, yeah, they have sources in retail, and they've also said that this price drop is happening. So there's a decent amount of smoke around this one. It's not just one person, it's coming from multiple angles. And usually with things like this, where there's smoke, there's fire. If there is a world where the Switch Lite costs $150, the Switch costs $250, and the Switch OLED costs $300, I feel great about that. But that's kind of like perfect case scenario, and we know that things usually don't go as idyllic as we would like. But apparently this is going to be happening as soon as next week, so I'll definitely keep you posted. Please let me know in the comments down below how you would feel about a $250 Nintendo Switch, and how that would make you feel about the current $350 OLED price point. Also, let me know if you think Nintendo has it in their hearts to go back on their $350 launch price and make that thing $300. Now, I really don't think that's a very business-savvy move, but it would be beautiful. I mean, it would be great, especially for a system that doesn't seem to have all that much hyper buzz less than a month from its launch. Regardless of how this shakes out, price cuts are always a good thing, and it's something that Nintendo is usually very slow to do. I mean, rightfully so from the business standpoint, because the Switch still sells insanely well. As they approach 100 million units, maybe it is time for a price cut, especially with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X figuring to be more accessible, although we know they're still constrained. But as you enter the holiday season, maybe Nintendo does want to undercut them a little bit and provide a significant price disparity between Nintendo's offering and the PlayStation Xbox offerings. It's a little weird that the Switch OLED is $350 and you can get a digital PS5 for $400. I'm not sure that better audio and no bezel really makes that thing worth just a little less than the high-powered next-gen 4K PlayStation 5. So this is just going to be fascinating what they decide to do. I mean, it's been 5 years, so a price cut, like, it feels like it could be time, and going into the holiday season would make a lot of sense. It's just thrown all askew because of the OLED's imminent release. And I feel like it's some sort of merry-go-round where as soon as you drop the OG Switch, that affects the OLED price and the way the OLED is viewed. And so there's a lot of shifting elements here that they need to carefully handle, because price, appearance, and perceived value is really important in the consumer space, especially at a grand scale. And Nintendo, I mean, they've done fantastic so far, so I hope they know what they're doing, and we'll see if this actually pans out come next week. I'll keep you all posted. All right, I love you guys a lot. I hope you're having a fantastic day over there wherever you are. Make sure you're staying safe, staying healthy, staying happy, staying positive. Hit that like button. Let me know your take in the comments down below. I love to keep you informed, and I'll keep on doing that as long as I can. Until then, though, everybody, thanks so much for watching. SwitchForce out.